Good evening, I am William Theo and this is PTV News Now. And we begin with uplifting and heartening news in the home front and the Department of Tourism front and center. Tourism accounted for 8.6% of the country's 2023 GDP, the latest data gathered show. PSA numbers released earlier today indicate that based on receipts from last year, the tourism direct gross value added amounted to 2.09 trillion or close to 50% more than the 2022 mark of 1.41 trillion. Variables included in the tourism direct gross value added summary compiled annually include accommodation services, food and beverage activities, transportation services, entertainment and recreation, shopping, reservation and travel agency services, and miscellaneous expenses. Likewise, inbound tourism posted the highest growth of 87.7% among tourism expenditures, amounting to 697.46 billion, while domestic tourism came in a strong second with a 72.3% uptick of 1.55 trillion in 2022 to 2.67 trillion last year. Even outbound tourism grew respectively by 10%, while internal tourism expenses that cover both inbound tourism and domestic tourism expenditures grew 75.3% to 3.36 trillion. Tourism sector generated employment chipped in 12.9% of all jobs in the country in the year 2023. Meanwhile, a novel idea, perhaps even naive, that might just get the Philippine resupply missions past a tight and ubiquitous Chinese naval blockade in the West Philippine Sea. Senator Francis Tolentino has come up with an idea that could get Philippine supply replenishment to the soldiers at the BRP Sierra Madre safely and without much incident. The senator suggests to tap the International Red Cross services to sail through and pass the pesky Chinese coast blockade in the West Philippine Sea and spare the Philippine Coast Guard, BFAR, and other civilian humanitarian missions the harassment and ordeal visited on them by the Chinese each time they set sail for Ayungin and Scarborough Shoals, among others. Senator Tolentino is pretty confident in his belief the Chinese will dare not harass or get in the way of a vessel flying the ICRC flag en route to its humanitarian mission, being the BRP Sierra Madre in Ayungin Shoal. Tolentino urges the Department of Foreign Affairs, together with the Task Force West Philippine Sea, to immediately undertake this proposal, which is well within the bounds of international law. At this moment, let's turn to my colleague in PTV's Baguio City studios for the latest developments in the Cordilleras. Ala?
Ngayon Bag-Arabi, Pilipinas, dakkel ti posibilidad ang pasaranti La Nina intun Hulyo, iso ati Cordillera RDRMC, na ingat mati palagipda kadagiti lokal a gobyerno nga agsagana. Hindi pa ilang marusog sagsaganan ti Cordillera Regional Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council, iti agbalin nga epekto di La Nina. Sigun iti Office of Civil Defense Cordillera, 69% ang mapasaran ti La Nina intun Hulyo aging ga Agosto. Iso nga imbilindan kadagiti amin ang local government unit, tinaingat a panagsagana na iti panawan, ita a panagtutudo. Imbilindamat lang ti parang ipatumpang lagi ti LGU iti risk assessment kadagiti malalayos ken marmalgay al lugar. Sigun iti OCD nasurok 100 a barangay iti Cordillera ti maibilang a landslide ken flash flood prone areas. Posible a manayunan pa daytoy depende iti mapasaran nga amount of rainfall.
Talagay man sa listahan o wala, tamang paghahanda. Meron ka man sa listahan o wala, hindi mo pa rin malalaman kung kailan mangyayari ang panganib. So ang kailangan na lang natin gawin, maghanda, maging proactive, ilagay sa mga tamang areas yung mga assets natin, mag-training ng mga tao natin, mga search and rescue teams, at ihanda yung mga plano. At tignan natin kung yung mga plano natin ay naakma pa sa mga umiiral na panganib sa ating mga lugar.
Iti sa Balipay Adamag, iti panaglapas ti El Nino, nasurok 28,000 ang manalon ti apektado iti Cordillera. Ini datos sa Department of Agriculture as of May 30, 2024, apektado tinasarok 20,000 nga ektarya of farmlands. Nasurok 173,000 metric tons ti pukaw iti rice, corn, high-value crops ken iti livestock akatukad iti nasurok 1.2 billion pesos. Nailista ti kadakkelan a pukaw iti Kalinga, Ifugao ken Mountain Province. Nakipaay ti DA iti buffer seeds, abono, water pumps ken dumapay a farm machineries karag iti apektado iti tikag. May payanpay dagiti manalong apektado iti financial assistance asag 10,000 pesos manipod iti opisina ni President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Manamnama ngay dalwan mismo ti presidente ti distribution ti tulong ijay apayaw intuon July 19.
Kung matutuloy in the Cordillera, may initial tayo na July 19 where the president will visit Apayao for the distribution of the 10,000 pesos presidential assistance for farmers and fisher folks which were affected by El Nino.
Dagiti damdamag manipod dito'y PTV Cordillera, shock ni Ala Sunduan. Naimag, Arabi.
Thank you, Ala, and that's all for tonight. William Theo wishing you a cooler and more restful night ahead.